Ladies and gentlemen, the man, listen, you've seen him all over. The guy is busier than frickin' Kevin Hart on a comedy tour. Paulie, what's going on, brother? It's good to have you back on, man.
My man, brother. How's it going, brother?
I'm good, man. You and I have been exchanging texts and calls and talking back and forth. And, I mean, you're all over, man. You're kind of making the MMA circuits. Kind of, I mean, everyone's vying for your attention, all that stuff. I'm like, hold up, that's my guy, God damn it, that's my boy. How dare you guys? I feel,
oh man, I'll tell you,
I feel like you're in this whirlwind right now. Like this whole Mayweather Conor thing is like it's this huge kind of soap opera, and you're one of the lead characters.
I mean, it's gotten crazy the amount of heat I'm taking. It's amazing. I'll tell you what, man. I can't imagine what like Donald Trump goes through on his social media because mine has been off the chain with negativity, man. It's crazy.
Welcome to MMA, my man. Welcome to the the trolls are us. It's kind of
Well, it's certainly been interesting. I'll say that because usually when I give like a tactical analysis of something, a tactical breakdown, people will give me the because I explain everything on a tactical basis, including this video that just came out. And then usually people, when I ever give a tactical breakdown, people will always be like, "Oh, okay, I got it now." But this one, you give a tactical breakdown and people get mad. You can't win.
No, you can't win, man. Like, you're fighting an uphill battle. I find it so interesting because you're going like toe to toe with them. I even text you, I went, dude, I wouldn't respond to all these haters. Like, it doesn't bother me, man. You got that Trump kind of thick armadillo skin where it doesn't get to you, and you respond to me like, nah, dummy, this is what happened. I find it entertaining as shit, but I don't know if it's the best way to go.
If I show you my timeline, I'm responding to like 1 every 100. I mean,
oh, I bet.
I mean, people think I'm responding to everyone. I mean, I can't even read everyone. It's crazy. Crazy. Like, I'll just sit through it and I'll randomly respond to some good. A piece of me also says, man, you know what? This keeps thing going. You know what I mean? Because everybody keeps tweeting me. I love the ones that keep tweeting me, stop looking for attention. All right, well, stop tweeting me then. So it's crazy. It's become quite a whirlwind, as you said.
I was doing a show yesterday on ESPN with Julio Chavez Senior and all the boxing guys there with ESPN, and they go, "Do you think this was Paulie's plan the whole time? Are him and Conor in cahoots together?" And I went, "Let me tell you something right now. I know both those guys well. There ain't a chance this is made up. I'm telling you, this is real."
No. This kind of took on a life of its own. Like, I mean, we were talking during the press tour, and, I would have mentioned it if it was in the cards. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mention anything. And I mentioned, we were talking about how camp might be and how things might go and everything, even in private meeting. And obviously, this kind of thing never came up.
And with all this going on, and Paul, you've obviously talked about it to death, and I don't want to just regurgitate the interviews you've done before, on MMA Hour and all that stuff, which were brilliant. But are you shocked by this? Like, I guess the whole way it went down, because my argument for you, I go, and for Conor, I'm on the tightrope here. I love both you guys. I said, I think both had a misunderstanding of what they're being brought in to do. I think Paulie thought he was going to be brought in to actually help and contribute to the camp. Conor was bringing him in solely to try to improve a point. I think both guys were wrong, and now here we are.
Yeah, and listen, here's my thing, okay? It's sort of a gossipy watchwoman type of effect Conor has, because if you don't like somebody, you do one of two things in the combat sports world, okay? You either fight them so you can wear small gloves and try to put a beating on them because you get to wear small gloves in a fight, or you do the opposite. You completely nullify them and don't mention them at all so that they get no attention. This guy did something around the middle. You know what I mean? Like, where he didn't fight me, throw me in the spar, and then started putting out social media pictures, which started like a whole social media, a whole media rush towards me. Then he put out the videos. It put out a media rush towards me. So he's kept me more and more relevant as this promotion has gone on. Instead of, if you're not going to fight me, just kind of post me to the side and don't say anything. Because if you don't post anything, nothing's going to come my way. You know what I mean? So, this all came my way once things started getting posted. From the very first picture, which had hands behind the back thing. So it's a little bit of I don't know if that's the method of what he's doing. It's hard to read, because a piece of me starts to think, why is this guy keeping me relevant like this? You know what I'm saying? I was just part of the media. Now I'm a subject of the media instead of a part of the media. You know, it was done in a way that I've never seen before. Because in combat sports, at least in boxing, you don't like fighting. Are we fighting? We're not sparring. What's sparring going to do? I want to hit you with big gloves. I want to hit you with small gloves. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the outlook I have.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, Paulie, but like with and I agree, releasing sparring video and stuff like that is usually, it's kind of like, you know, there's unspoken rules in baseball. It's kind of guy code. You really don't do that.
I'll tell you.
But
you know what I was just thinking of?
Go ahead. I was just saying, don't you think this kind of, you know, Conor's introduction to this kind of professional boxing world came from Chris Van Aerden? Van Aerden released this first. So I think Conor goes, hold up. That's how we're doing this?
I don't know if Van Aerden didn't release it first, Brendan. First Conor released that thing, then Van Aerden had to release it. You know what I'm saying? Well, the only thing Conor learned out of that wasn't to be more ethical and say, let's not record something and put it out. The only thing Conor learned out of that was to make sure everybody doesn't have the recording instrument in the gym when they're sparring. That way nobody can prove him wrong with their own version of the video. You know? So even with the Van Aerden situation, he did it first.
I disagree with that, Paulie.
He burned all his bridges.
The only thing with that, Paulie, is Van Aerden released that first because the owner of the gym, Tony Jeffries, one of my best friends, he goes, Conor's coming in the gym, so everyone's there, and then Van Aerden's team released it. Does that make sense? And then my coach Tony got a call.
I don't want to disagree with you, Brendan. I don't want to disagree with you, but that's not what I heard. I'm not saying it's a fact, but that's not what I heard. I heard it was the other way around. But
gotcha.
I think I definitely want to know more about it. If that's I know Van Aerden's manager well.
Yeah.
I can actually say that too.
But also with the video, the video got released, and you know, I'm assuming Conor had knowledge of this, but Dana released the video, right?
Yeah, Dana released the video, but Conor has knowledge of this. And I was thinking something in the past 24 hours, Brendan. This is something I actually haven't brought up in the other interviews yet. So this is actually something I was just pulling up with in the past 24 hours. They have said that they are going to release the full unedited 12 rounds after the sparring, correct? After the fight, correct? That's what they've said.
Okay, I didn't see that. They did say that?
Yeah, they've been saying that they're going to release the full 12 rounds after the Mayweather fight is over.
Love it.
And I got to thinking, okay, maybe they will, maybe they won't, because they obviously have recorded footage since they were able to edit it. And then I started hearing the way Conor talked, the way Dana talked about how I barely got out of the gym alive. I mean, you would have thought like I barely got out of there alive. You know, the way they made the sparring sound. You know, like I've never taken this kind of damage in sparring. There's been fights where I don't take this kind of damage. Now supposedly I was taking it in sparring. So I got to thinking. Once they did that, once they said that, I said, these guys are never going to release this footage because there's no way they would make themselves sound this stupid. There's no way.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? But
correct.
Now, in the past 24 hours, something tweaked my mind, Brendan.
What's that?
In the first sparring and the second sparring, I have workout outfits. They're exactly the same exact shorts, the same exact headgear. I'm wearing the same exact gloves. I'm wearing the same exact shoes. So now, since we know their editing skills, what they actually might be doing is taking bits and clips of one round from the first sparring, another round from the second sparring, another round from the first sparring, and editing 12 rounds of footage. I'm wearing the exact same thing in both sparring sessions.
I gotcha.
Because there's no way, and I mean, you still won't have a 12-round beating, but you can still make it look like he got the better of the sparring in that way. I don't put it past these guys. I just started thinking, I said, holy shit, I'm wearing the same exact outfit both times. The same exact outfit, because I had bought a bunch of shorts that were exactly the same, you know, where they had the name of one of my companies, like TruthForTaxes.com, on the shorts. I had worn the same exact gloves, and they wanted me to wear these gloves for sparring. They chose the gloves I had to wear, which is fine. Obviously, I'm wearing my same top. I'm wearing my same shoes. I'm wearing my same headgear. I look exactly the same in both sparring. You know what I'm saying? So now, I mean, I'm going to know if it's going to take me to watch it to know, but nobody else is going to know. And obviously, Conor's minions all think about, hey, man, whatever he says is gospel. I'm just putting it out there just because I recently thought about it, and I said, sure. There's no way they're going to release it. They look too stupid. They're going to look way too stupid to release it. You know what I'm saying? But now I started thinking, these guys are so sneaky. I mean, we've seen Dana in The Ultimate Fighter and on the reality show, what he does, how he flips shit around, how he how he's sneaky with video footage and whatnot. So, so it's not like you don't know this guy's a sneaky trick to begin with, you know? So, I mean, at this point, I've lost all faith in anything at all. You know what I'm saying? I've lost all faith in anything at all. What's going to be is going to be. We got to fight. We got to fight. That's it. I mean, I don't want to take away from the August 26th promotion, but me and Conor McGregor have to fight. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't like me. I don't like him. I don't like anybody on his team. I don't want to be friends after we fight. I don't give a shit. I want to just get the chance to punch him in the mouth with 8-ounce gloves.
And do you think that's going to happen, Paul? You think, because the only way that I see that happening is if Conor has a fight like I think he's capable of doing against Floyd Mayweather, where he puts up a good showing, then the fight with you and him makes more sense, more relevant. You can do it under McGregor Promotions.
Yeah, I agree, Brendan. He has to have some sort of performance, even if he doesn't win. He has to perform in some sort of manner where people are going to want to watch him box again. If he goes in the ring and gets totally washed,
you don't have a fight
because nobody's going to care to watch him boxing.
Correct.
So there's a fine line you're playing here. So which is why I can't really get into so much about me and Conor McGregor boxing until you watch the fight between him and Mayweather. I get a lot of the MMA trolls telling me, you know what, if you're a bull, fight him in the octagon. Listen, man, I'm not the one trying to prove to him that I can beat him up in his world. He's the one trying to make it like he's beating me up in my world. You know? So if that's the case, don't do it with editing. Don't do it with editing. Show me how you're doing it. I mean, common sense will tell you this, but the fact that he even needed editing will tell you what really happened in that corner. The fact that he even needed editing. You're going to tell me out of 36 minutes, you could not find 20 seconds straight of concurrent footage, 20 seconds of concurrent straight footage of you beating me up? Out of 36 minutes you have of that spawn, you could not find 20 full seconds straight of concurrent. You had to chop it up from one round, put it in from another round, and put them together. You couldn't find 20 seconds of straight footage of you getting the better of the action. I mean, this is what we're dealing with here, you know?
And let me ask you this, Paul. If you had to, and I don't know if you've had to do this, and this might be tough, but out of your whole experience with the Conor McGregor team, the UFC, give me one pro. Just give me a pro out of it, and then we'll go to the cons. But give me one pro, like one good thing you saw out of this experience.
One thing that I take that's good out of the experience. I mean, I don't know if this is a pro out of the experience, but I'll tell you. You want me to tell you what it is?
Please.
Yeah, I got to know who these people are for real. You know, like you have a lot of people. Conor McGregor has a lot of fans. Everybody kept telling me when I was getting ready to go to camp that everybody. I mean, you would assume these people met Floyd and Conor, and so many people kept telling me Floyd's a dick, even though I know him personally that he's not a dick. But Floyd's a dick. But you're going to see when you meet Conor in real life, this guy's the coolest guy, as if they had met him, as if they'd ever met him. I mean, if you're somebody who met him and kissed his ass, of course he's going to be nice to you. He kind of loves getting his ass. That's like his favorite thing to do in the world is getting his ass kissed. If you're not doing it, he actually looks at you like you're the enemy. So the best thing that came out of this is I got to see who this person is. You know what I'm saying? And for me, he's a shitbag human being. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I got to see that because I would have always thought, this is a funny guy to root for. But I watched his fights. Who didn't watch McGregor's fights? I don't used to take out of him. I thought he was comical. I thought he was a character. But now I got to meet this person. You know what I'm saying? I got to see the person, and I got to see the people around him. They're the kind of people that, fame or no fame, I don't like to associate with anyway. So I'm glad I got to see that out of them. And that's a pro for me.
And you think, Paulie, and again, I don't think it was ever your intention, but man, I feel like, the drama between you two, the beef between you two actually sells the Conor Floyd fight even more now. I really do. I think it sells that. It gets people tuning even more. And then if Conor puts up some sort of fight, now you have another huge payday on Conor's plate and your plate. You know what I'm saying? It's so that would be a pro, Paulie.
Yeah, that would be a pro if that would happen, but you don't know what's going to happen yet. I don't put the cart before the horse, Brendan. I try to, take it as it comes along. But the reality of it is, I started thinking that too. Was this guy thinking a step ahead of the game and trying to make me relevant in that way, like putting me out there, calling me into camp, making me the subject of this media rush? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because Conor, he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy when it comes to promotional stuff. Was this always his plan? So that there was a plan B after Mayweather? These are all theories that you just don't know anymore. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of take it as it is.
It's a smart move. It's a calculated smart move.
We'll only know if we see this play out the way we're assuming it plays out that way. But but I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, this is not 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was a world champion. I used to relish the controversy. I used to relish the shit talk. I used to relish being in the center of the controversy all the time. You know what I'm saying? But at this point in my career, I didn't want to make my money and chill, man. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I was brought into this whole rush, this whole storm, it wasn't my intention. Mm-hmm. I could have done without it. And honestly, if a fight comes out of it, that's a pro. If a fight doesn't come out of it, then it was really more so a waste of my time.
Kind of, Paulie. But the other thing, too, I think, as big as the name you are in boxing, I think, you're the most popular MMA or boxing fighter among MMA fans besides Floyd Mayweather now. So that's a pro. It builds kind of, your name in that regards. And I don't, no matter what comes out of it, I think, you have a personal experience with Conor that's going to help you on the broadcast. So I think there's a few pros there.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think of it like that. So I mean, obviously, from a tactical standpoint, like I said, I'm an X's and O's guy, and I'm gonna be able to bring out a couple X's and O's on the broadcast that I would not have had if I had not taken part in the sparring sessions with Conor. Mm-hmm. But of course, this is all also the pros and cons are also apply to him too, because now he's put out a video where you clearly see how dirty he is inside, how often he pushes the head down, how often he rabbit punches. I mean, just in that little clip, and it's edited, how many times he pushes the head down, how many times he's rabbit punching in that clip because he's taking clips from one round and goes to the other round. You know what I'm saying? In one of the clips, he's not landing a single punch, but he's pushing my head down. In the other clip where he's landing some shots, he's throwing smacks instead of turning the punch over. He's throwing a rabbit punch. He's pushing my head down in that clip, too. You know what I mean? Like, all he's done is basically alert the media, like, look, I don't know how to fight inside. I'm going to be really dirty. You know what I mean? And everybody has subtle dirty tricks. Don't get me wrong. But you got to be subtle. I mean, now the cat's out of the bag with him. So he's actually shot himself in the foot in that way, too, because I'm sure that wasn't his intention to do that,
Mm-mm. Yeah, and the ref, whoever it is that night, I don't know if they've decided yet. I don't think they have. That's going to be the first thing I'm sure Floyd's camp is going to say. Watch the head holding, watch the dirty boxing inside, stuff like that. So that's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you this, Brendan, and it's mainly because of that video. Because now that the video is exposed and you see all that, I'll tell you straight up, during that sparring session, Joe Cortez is there to count knockdowns, count flips, referee a fight like it's a real fight, do all that, warn fighters for illegal tactics and whatnot. He took a point from McGregor. Granted, it's a virtual point, but there's no real scorecards. But he's refereeing like he's refereeing a real fight. He took a point from McGregor in that sparring session. And again, if the video comes out where it's really not edited and it's really just that sparring session and not mixed in with the first sparring session, you'll see he took a point from him for pushing my head down and hitting behind the head. Granted, pushing the head down is legal in MMA. It's legal. Correct. It's not legal in boxing, but it's legal in MMA.
Correct.
You can get away with it in boxing if you do it subtly.
Yeah, you can get away with it, especially if the guy's bending down. You can get away with it somewhat in boxing, but it's going to be tough to do against Floyd.
You get away with it. Everybody does it. I mean, even I've done it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to get credit for a knockdown if the guy goes down from you pushing his head down. But what you will do is, you prevent yourself from getting head butted. There's ways of doing it where it doesn't look intentional. It doesn't look like it's not perfect. There's ways of doing it, but you got to know how to do it. You got to know how to do it in a subtle way. You can't be reaching out for the guy when you miss a punch and just drag his head down. Or also the rabbit punches. Rabbit punches are illegal in both sports. We just had a situation not even 2 years ago where Prisha Colon in boxing, and where rabbit punches did to him in his fight. He's damaged for life. You know what I'm saying? So boxing takes these things more seriously as far as the rabbit punches are concerned. I don't know how big of a risk it is in MMA. I know it's illegal, but I don't know how big of an inherent risk rabbit punches are in MMA. But in a sport like boxing where it's just blows and only strikes constantly, just strikes, and more strikes, the risk of brain damage is there because it's only strikes and nothing else.
Sure.
So, there's these inherent rules, especially with rabbit punching, that it's going to come out, and you see it in the video. I mean, the guy put all clips. Why would you show clips of you rabbit punching too? You know what I'm saying? Again, stop himself.
Paulie, do you think after going through this whole experience, do you give Conor more of a shot in this fight or less of a shot after seeing it with your own two eyes? You're probably the best guy to speak on this. We're about the fight's next Saturday. I'm gonna be with you in Vegas come Monday. After going through this whole experience, before you were kind of, you were at least open-minded enough to go, anything could happen. And after going through those rounds and seeing all this, are you more pro Floyd or pro Conor here?
Here's the thing. It's a fight, so anything can happen. And we know that in a fight, anything can happen. I can't tell you who I think is going to win because I'm on the broadcast, and people are going to think, like, if I pick one side or the other, I'm going to be biased to that side. So I can't really tell you who I think is going to win.
Good point.
But I will tell you, you know, it's things that Conor does. Now, people talk about how his unorthodox style is going to throw off Mayweather. His unorthodox style is going to throw off Mayweather. It's hard to do stuff and make it work effectively against Mayweather if it's outside the box. See, mixed martial arts is still evolving a lot more than boxing is. Mixed martial arts is still a relatively new sport. So an unorthodox guy in mixed martial arts can catch a lot more guys by surprise because there's different art forms in there. It's mixed martial arts. It's not just one art form. And the sport is relatively new, so that an unorthodox style can really come in and throw some guys off, you know? But in boxing, the sport has been around for so long now, and it's just one art. It's one particular set of skills. And it's evolved to the point now where there's not much room for error anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, the top level of boxing at this day and age, there's not much room for error anymore. So the unorthodox has to be effective. It can be effective. Don't get me wrong. Marcos Maidana is unorthodox, and he's effective, and we saw him do that against Mayweather.
Sure.
But then again, if I put in my mailman in the boxing ring, he's going to be unorthodox as well. But it doesn't mean he knows what he's doing or he's going to have any kind of success. You know, so there's unorthodox that's effective and unorthodox that look ridiculous. We're going to find out on fight, really, because Conor's working in the gym every day. But I will tell you this. I will say this because I saw it myself in the gym. The guy has a bunch of yes men in the corner. Nobody's actually teaching him. You know what I'm saying? And if anything proves that, it's what you saw in the video. They shot themselves before the video. There is no inside game to him. All he does is hold. That's the mixed martial arts instinct, is to hold and push your head down. The most difficult thing to learn in boxing is how to fight on the inside. And you know why that is? Again, I'm going to give a tactical breakdown. Because every single punch can hit you on the inside. You are susceptible to every shot, a body shot, a head shot, uppercut, hook to the body, to the head, everything. So you are now a target for everything. So to remain calm and do effective work in there is a lot more difficult when you can't grab and just eliminate a lot of the options just by grabbing a guy or just by pushing his head down. Conor didn't even try to learn that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even try to learn any of that.
Who's coaching him, Paulie? Who's giving him those tips in there on his team? Like, when you guys are sparring, who's yelling instructions to
Here's the thing.
Conor?
You hear guys in the corner, and they'll say a couple of things. I'm not going to say what they say because, again, I wouldn't want to actually ruin that. But you can tell Conor thinks he's doing good when he's not. Like, there's times he'll have a bad round, and he thinks he did great. I mean, at that point, I started realizing, because, let's face it, I didn't win every round, he didn't win every round. But at a certain point, I started realizing this guy thinks he's doing good, even when he's not. Like, what are they telling him in the corner? You can only think that logically if you go back to your corner and they're telling you how great you're doing. That's the only logical thing you can do, which tells me you just have a bunch of yes men in the corner. A real trainer has to know how to give you tough love. And what I mean by tough love is when you're shitting the bed and it's not working out and you're going to have to make a change, you're going to go, somebody, that round's stuck. You better get your fucking head out of your ass and start doing A, B, and C instead of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, they got to be real with them. You have to be real.
You got to be real with tactics. You got to be real. It's not just about being real. Anybody can be real. You got to be also smart enough to have the tactical analysis to give the fighter as well. It's not just about being real. It's about having knowledge too. So that combination of everything. Again, like I said, I think that video hurts them more than anything because now the video comes out. The more times people see it in slow mo, the less it looks real, the less genuine it looks. But what it's done now is it's given everybody a view of what this guy does as far as all the dirty stuff he does. So they've shot themselves in the foot this way. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing it that way. And I'll tell you something else about what Dana White said. Because Dana White said, he lost all 12 rounds. It was such a beating and such a that. Brendan, you've been a fighter. I'll tell you this. But you have to be in shape to catch a beating. I mean, you have to be in shape to give a beating. You also have to be in shape to touch a beating. Especially the 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've already gone over the fact that I lost the 8 rounds because I was not in 12-round shape. So I'm not in great shape. To touch a beating every single round of 12 rounds, how would I ever survive that? There's no way I could ever finish 12 rounds if it was the way they're saying. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I could ever get through 12 rounds. So common sense from a lot of perspectives will tell you maybe the story here, maybe the story there. Believe what you want. But you got to also take something with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I also think, to obviously Dana and Conor and the rest of the team, and I'm not trying to defend them at all, Paul. I also think they're using that sparring footage and you as a marketing tool to gain more kind of buys by saying, look, Paulie, and to your credit, they're going, look, Paulie's a 2-time world champion. He's amazing. Yeah. Here's a short clip of Conor doing well. It's not a circus.
But then here's the thing, too. I mean, everybody makes Paul, I heard a couple of weak-ass MMA fans on my timeline saying, Paulie just retired in March. Conor hasn't fought since November. Dude, it doesn't matter if you fought last month. If you've been out of the gym for a month, you're still out of shape. You know what I'm saying? So
there's fight shape.
Being a fighter, a top-level fighter being in fight shape and now being in fight shape also matters. You know what I'm saying? Also, that also matters a lot. Even if you retired 2 weeks ago, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I would be out of shape in a week after a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the way, getting in shape is hard. Falling out of shape is very simple. You know what I'm saying? So from that perspective, and again, you know this because you're a fighter as well. So it's a very fine line you're walking here. Dana put out the video. Yeah, they marketed it as, as because of my name, and they wanted him to look good. They're using my name to look good. But, at day's end, I also had a lot of people tell me this. Conor looked ridiculous at that media workout. He looked like he couldn't even throw 2 punches. So now they needed something to get the media, especially the boxing media's attention away from how ridiculous he looks at the media workout. Because the boxing media was already starting to be very skeptical of this guy from what they saw at the media workout. The worst thing he could have done is actually worked out at the media workout. He should have just pulled the Conor McGregor, just hung out and done nothing. Now he looks utterly ridiculous, and now they're going to put something out there to take away the negative press, right? Boom. Perfect timing to put out the video. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, again, that's all conspiracy theories and whatnot. I'm just going by what people have told me. I don't know. At day's end, is it going to market the fight? Fuck yeah, it's going to market the fight. Absolutely.
Big time.
It's going to create more buys. It's going to create hype. Shit, I just got to create even hype to me somehow. I have gained social media followers. Most of them are haters, but fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can get paid getting sponsors and endorsements off my social media followers.
For sure, Paul.
The more I have, the better. It's probably a mix of a lot of reasons why this happens. There's pros and cons to it. But like I said, at 36 years old, I probably could have done without all the headaches at this point in my life.
We'll end on this, Paulie. I got to ask you, and I obviously always appreciate your time, man. I know you're busy. Let me ask you this. Does any of it bother you? Because, being a fighter, you're kind of a sensitive guy, but you're different. You're a New York guy, you're a Brooklyn guy. But does any of it get to you, like the social media stuff like that, like the hate and all that? Does it get exhausting?
You know what it is, man? It's not to say it gets to you is a strong way to put it, but it does sometimes hurt you because I'm a real New Yorker. I'm an old school New Yorker. I come from a time when New York was, if you said something about somebody, you better blaze it, back it up, and you get the shit beat out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how New York was when I grew up. You know what I mean? And now with this whole social media generation, it's not just about this way. It's just the social media generation. Anybody can hide behind a computer, and you'll never see them in your life. You know, you'll a lot of times they don't even have avatar pictures of themselves.
Correct.
So like, it's brought out all the punk, and you realize what society has. A lot of punk. You know what I mean? Like in the world I grew up in, which is old school New York, if you said something, man, you better watch. You better make sure your teeth are glued into your mouth real good, because you might catch a sucker punch at any given point from that person you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
That's the world we live in now, Paulie. That's kind of, social media. There's tons of pros and cons. The con is you're giving voices to these trolls who just they want to spark some sort of hate and throw hate towards you and shade towards you because they've never done shit in their life. So
and you know what the frustrating thing is? It's made this into like a boxing versus MMA thing. And if anybody hears any of my interviews about, if anybody hears any of my interviews about MMA before any of this, before this fight was ever signed, I'm talking about at any point in my career, I've always said the same thing about MMA fighters and the sport of MMA. No matter what anybody's positive or negative is, I've always had the same view. I've always said the same thing. If you fight for a living, I have to respect you, because combat for a living is one of the most difficult things to do in this world.
Correct.
To do combat for a living. So whether you're a boxer, whether you're a mixed martial artist, whether you're a Thai boxer, whether you're a kickboxer, whatever kind of combat you do, if you're doing combat for a living, it is so difficult, mentally, physically challenging, that you are a different kind of human being to me, because I know what the grind feels like. I know what it feels like mentally and physically. And I have to give you that respect no matter what. And I've always given all fighters respect. That's why I've jumped on the bandwagon where MMA fighters should have to outreact. One, because I think they should be treated fairly and rightfully just as well as far as paychecks are concerned, and all this other stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's not boxing versus MMA. We're all fighters. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of one of the frustrations I've seen in this promotion. People have gone with this whole boxing versus MMA thing, and it shouldn't be about that. It's a boxing match. Floyd Mayweather's favored. If it was a mixed martial arts match, Conor McGregor would be favored. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to do it in a ring, they're going to fight, and that's it. Enjoy the show.
Yep, I think that's refreshing, but most boxers, especially analysts, or like I said, I was doing stuff with ESPN yesterday with Julio Chavez Sr. I mean, he almost laughed me out of the room when I told him Conor had a chance, and he makes it boxing versus MMA, and that's how most guys do it. So that's why right away I think you and I gelled right away. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Brendan. Think about it this way: if somebody came in from our sport and was fighting the best fighter in your mixed martial arts. Let's say right now, the best fighter, John Jones. And let's say like a light heavyweight boxer guy came into mixed martial arts, the fight of the year, the fight of the most selling fight ever, most expensive fight ever, and he was going to fight John Jones. Would you give him a shot? I mean,
God, I would, Paulie. That's the thing. I would like if you.
Give him a shot. I boxer. I mean, I think that's the thing. It's a very difficult road to cross.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it, Paulie. I get it, brother. I get it, man.
Don't get me wrong. You want to have an open mind. A fight is a fight is a fight. You always give somebody a small percentage because a fight is a fight. It's a fight at the end of the day. But of course, there's a reason the guy whose art they are fighting is going to be favored. You know what I'm saying? And some people are going to say this. Not only are they fighting in that guy's art form, but he's the best at that particular art form. No way anybody touches him in boxing, let alone out of boxing.
The only thing to counter that, Paulie, is let's say Anthony Joshua decided to come over to the UFC and do one fight, and they guaranteed him a fight with a stand-up artist. So let's say they give him Anthony Rumble Johnson. Let's say he fights at heavyweight against Anthony Rumble Johnson, and Anthony Rumble Johnson is all pure stand-up fighter. He has some wrestling, obviously, and he wrestled in college, but let's say he just wants to strike with Anthony Joshua. I would give Anthony Joshua a huge advantage there. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe Anthony Joshua is not versed in knowing how to throw spin punches. He's not versed in knowing how to throw elbows.
He's versed in knocking motherfuckers out, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, knocking a dude out is knocking a dude out.
But I'll tell you what, also the point you're bringing also, at heavyweight, there's a larger margin for error. The guys are a little slower. There's a larger margin. The smaller you get, the smaller the margin for error gets because there's a lot more speed and it's a lot more precise. You know what I'm saying? Bigger guys are a bit more cumbersome. You know what I'm saying? So you're also bringing that into consideration. But even still, Conor's specialty is stand-up. But Conor's specialty is stand-up. He's terrific at kicks. He's terrific at knees. He's terrific at elbows. You're even if it's stand-up, you're eliminating so much of the stand-up.
No, it's a different world for sure. I agree, brother.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
Well,
I appreciate your time, Paulie. I really do, man. I know you've been through the car wash doing all these MMA shows and boxing shows, and I'm always in your corner, brother. And with the haters, and I told you this through the phone and through text too, man. I just, you're gonna do you, but there's so many trolls out there, you can never beat them. But people love you. More people love you than anything. So I will see you next week in Vegas, my brother. I'm looking forward to it, man, and I appreciate your time as always, Paulie.
Should be a fun week, my man. I'll see you next week, man.
All right, brother. Take care, man.